word problems where it's a little bit challenging to figure out. And before we do jump in, if that says 189, please change it to 187. Now, we're going to chunk this just like we always do, meaning we break it into smaller chunks. So if I only focus on the first sentence, together Sam and Jordan had 187 cards. So that's kind of like this start. Now, would I break it down like this for every single problem? I don't know that I would, but I know that at the start they both have 187. And then some event happens. Something occurs. Sam gives 3/7 of his cards to another friend. So Sam gives cards away. And if you want to write this, give yourself the time to write it down, pause it. No, my handwriting's not super clear, but that's okay. He and Jordan now have an equal number of cards. How many more cards did Sam have than Jordan in the beginning? So that means that at the end of this situation, Sam and Jordan are related somehow. So once he does that, he and Jordan had an equal number of cards. What this means is that if I'm dealing with cards, I know that there's Sam's, I know that there's Jordan's, and it usually brings up Sam and then Jordan first. So it might work, it might not always work, but I'm like, you know what? I feel pretty confident that because I know Sam had more at the start, why don't I draw his bar first? But I know that Jordan's is going to be smaller than that, but I'm not sure exactly how. I don't know how many Sam had, so that's a question mark. I don't know how many Jordan had, so that's a question mark. But I do know that at the very beginning, they had a total number of cards, and that same total was 187. Now, as you know, in our class, we've already done a lot of this in past classes, so we're not worried about writing sentences out and everything here. But I do have a fraction, and that fraction is 3/7. So whatever Sam is doing, he is changing his cards and breaking it into 7 equal parts. And don't forget that the first part of the word fraction is fract, which means to break. Now 7 is not even, so I can't just cut it in half and work from there. It's also not composite, which means it's prime. So here when we're trying to draw 7s, there's more flexibility with how neat this should be. And if I were to try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'd know that I made a mistake and I needed to double check it until I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal parts. Now the parts that we're interested in is what he has given away. So if he gave away 3, I can try and draw a fancy bracket under that. And if you prefer, turn your page or just draw a V. And this is the gave away part. But after he had 3/7, that means that he would still have this. And then once he gives those away, he has the same as Jordan. And I don't know that I would really bring my ruler out for this part. I'm just bringing it out to show that here's what he gave away, here's what he gave away, here's what he gave away. Which means that when I go to draw Jordan's, it's important that I show them as the same size. Well, if they broke this up that way, the more you practice it, the more useful you see that it is to break it into the same number of parts. Each of these boxes would all have the same value. So counting them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then another 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 more gives us, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 gives us 11 boxes in all. So that means that this 187 will be getting shared equally among those 11 boxes. Don't know why I did that, excuse me. And then here, just pull out a calculator if it's been a while since you've practiced division. Because our goal is to do word problems and not to practice division today. We just want to get the problem complete and understood. And so that means that each of these is going to be 17. I'm just putting little quotation marks indicating that that's the same number all throughout. And since they ask a comparison question, and they want to know how many more cards did Sam have than Jordan in the beginning, I really only need to know these 3 boxes total. And then down here, whatever sentence we would have would mention 51, and be sure to include your units for cards.